anything pops into your head, just ask, and if we're going to cover it later in the presentation, I'll just say we'll get to it later on. So just a quick introduction about a few things we're going to cover today. Starting off with weight loss versus fat loss principle. Fat loss nutrition, we'll cover food groups. You all obviously will be eating certain food groups right there. It's important to know what those are when it comes to weight loss. Blood sugar, how that food that you eat affects the blood sugar and how that plays a part in fat loss. Exercise, everyone here is a member of the gym, aren't they? Do you all use the gym regularly? Do you all see me, Simon, or Sophie for regular upgrades every 4 to 6 weeks? Perfect. I'll be reiterating the importance of that when it comes to timing. We'll cover some misconceptions because there are obviously a few misconceptions. I get asked the same questions on a regular basis, and doing these talks is a good opportunity to kind of clear a bunch of those up in one go. Goal setting, the importance of deadlines, how that can play a massive part in your progress. You have to have an end to what you're currently doing, otherwise you can generally find that it will just drift on and never really get accomplished. And then rewarding yourself and cheat meals. You can include takeaway, pizza, all the foods associated with weight gain, and I actually recommend it when trying to lose body fat. And I'll explain that as we go towards the end of the seminar. And then I've got questions and summary at the end, but like I said, if you've got any questions, just put your hand up and we'll cover them ongoing, providing we're not going to get to them later. Right, weight loss, fat loss. I've got a question for you guys, and please be interactive with me because I get bored of my own voice after about 10 minutes. What's the fastest way to lose 10 pounds? Ah? Go on. Say, cut off your...
Diet?
Oh, diet. Diet, no. I think what you said the first time was probably more accurate. The quickest way, obviously, not stop eating, just cut your arm off. Would you agree? The quickest way to lose 10 pounds of weight, cut your arm off. If you come to see me for an assessment downstairs and said, I want to lose 10 pounds, and I said, cut your arm off, would you consider that time well spent? No, but it meets your objective, doesn't it? It meets that I want to lose 10 pounds goal. But what I'm trying to kind of bring to the front is weight loss and fat loss are two completely different things. To lose weight it's quite simple, really. You just eat less and you move more, and a lot of the kind of major weight loss kind of chains, or kind of support groups are kind of built on that concept of keeping calories really low, demonizing fat, which is something we definitely shouldn't do. We'll cover that in a little bit in a few slides' time when we cover nutrition. But fat loss is a completely different animal. You've got to know exactly kind of what you're eating, how foods affect your blood sugar in order to keep that going. Tone is another way of saying low body fat percentage. A lot of people come in and see me with goals, and you've got to kind of know where you're going with your goals. Tone really is, all it is able to see the muscle tissue under the skin. So if you've got a goal where you want to tone up, basically what you're trying to achieve is just a lower body fat percentage to be able to see the muscle tissue underneath the skin, more or less. Eating less and moving more will result in weight loss. Obviously, weight loss and fat loss, we've discovered before, are two completely different things. It's not always about weight loss. Obviously, we want to reduce the body fat. We'll get over that in just a second. And losing fat is more permanent and sustainable than losing weight. Because weight, obviously, as some of you may be aware, can yo-yo quite significantly. And we'll cover those points as we go. That's all right, just grab a seat. All right, fat loss nutrition. Nutrition is always a very key point. A lot of people are very interested, and I expect there'll be quite a few questions that come out of this. The foods that we eat affect, obviously, what we look like, how we feel, and how much weight we're going to gain or lose. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a table on the board here. Can everyone see the board okay? So like the slide says, there are 3 main food groups. Can anyone hazard a guess and tell me what those food groups are? Carbs. Or carbohydrate. Yeah, absolutely. We eat carbs every single day. Or we should be. What was the other one? Yep, protein. And if any of you have seen me for any specific length of time downstairs, you'll probably be familiar with these as well. But yeah, feel free to shout them out. Proteins, carbs, and fats, 3 main macronutrient food groups, and you should be eating all 3 on a regular basis to sustain optimum health. Obviously, not all proteins are created equal, not all carbohydrates are created equal, and certainly not all fats are created equal. We don't want to demonize any of them, so I'm not saying that we should jump on the zero carb bandwagon or the zero fat bandwagon by any means, but we should understand exactly what constitutes the right protein, the right carbohydrates, and the right fat when it comes to telling our bodies that we want to burn fat rather than just lose weight. So let me pose a few questions to you guys, and I'm going to need your participation, so don't be shy. Put your hand up if you feel like participating. Tell me what you had for breakfast this morning.
Oats.
Oats? Excellent. Which one of those 3 is that going to fall into? So you don't have to be right, just have a guess. Yeah, carbohydrates. I've drawn a line down the middle. Anything I put above the line is going to be what I constitute a fat loss friendly food, and anything I put below the line I'm going to put down as a anti-fat loss food. So would you say that oats would go above or below the line? Above. Yeah, I agree. However, there is a few of these which I'll highlight at the end, which we need to make sure that we don't have in abundance. Because even if we eat the right foods, they're healthy foods, but too much of them, we're going to send our body out of control in a spiral, which will then promote weight gain. Anyone else breakfast this morning? Or did nobody else have breakfast this morning? Bagel. Bagel? Which one of those three is it going to go in?
Mine is below.
Below in the carbs. You're actually right. Bagels. Do you know how many slices of bread is actually in a bagel? If you're looking at calorie content, does anyone want to know?
Probably not.
3? Anyone think higher than 3 or lower than 3? It's about 5.
Wow.
5 slices of bread constitute one bagel when you look at density and calorie content. So you have a nice club sandwich instead of a bagel. But I will put bagels below the line. In fact, I put all bread below the line. Does anyone know, incidentally, what the 2 main ingredients in bread are?
Sugar.
No. Flour and water. And you're all now going to be able to tell me the same 2 main ingredients in glue. No? Flour and water. Anyone else?
Granola with, well, 2 things. Granola with yogurt.
Okay, so we're going to do granola first. Where are you going to put it on my board?
Carbs.
Yeah, above or below?
Above, optimistically.
I'm going to stick it below. Granola. It's quite sweet, isn't it? It tastes nice, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We add the yogurt in.
Especially when you
Makes
finish
it
yogurt.
nicer. Where are you going to put the yogurt?
Protein.
There are certain foods that are going to trick you out. Certain foods contain a combination of them. Is it low-fat yogurt?
No.
It's normal full-fat yogurt. So it's probably going to contain a combination of all 3. There are, in fact, incidentally, that's an interesting point to make when we're talking about dairy. Does everyone know what the 3 main sugars that your body's going to take in are? And where you find them? Because sugar, obviously, is something that we want to dramatically reduce. However, if you typically follow a low-fat diet, the amount of sugar that you take in will be significantly higher than you want it to be when it comes to losing fat. You can lose weight by cutting out fat because fat is calorie dense. In fact, does anyone know how many calories a gram of fat has compared to protein and carbs? Okay, feel free not to remember any of this because we're filming it and you're going to watch it over and over again. There's 9 calories per gram of fat, there's 4 calories per gram of carbs and 4 calories per gram of protein. So when it comes to weight loss, and promoting weight loss, if we're doing it through lowering the calorie intake, then cutting this one down seems reasonable if you want to reduce your calorie intake, right? But if you reduce your calorie intake, you're going to create a void. You're going to create a gap that needs to be filled. And that gap is generally going to be filled with one of these 2, probably this one. I will go over that in a second when we look at the government recommended food pyramid. What was I talking about? Yogurt, low-fat yogurt. Certain foods will fall into all 3. Dairy is one of them. The 3 main sugars, one you'll find in dairy. What's the sugar in dairy called? Lactose. Most people are lactose intolerant. If you're not sure, you probably are. Try cutting it out and watch how your skin improves, and how your energy improves, and how your digestion improves. One is found in fruit. What's that sugar called? Fructose. Yeah, if you eat too much fructose, you're going to gain weight. I don't care if it's in an apple or an innocent smoothie, it's fructose. If you look at tomato ketchup, it's high fructose corn syrup, and it's part of the problem. And the other one is sucrose, which is your refined sugar, which you'll find in most processed foods, sweets, cakes, and so on and so forth. So we want to dramatically reduce those, and all 3 of them, unfortunately, fall in this category. So this is the one we need to be really careful of when it comes to food. So I'm going to put yogurt below the line on all of them. If it's fat-free, it's still going to be below the line, it's just going to be on those 2. Anyone else? Let's do one more. Eggs. Where's that going to go? Protein and fats, absolutely. The yolk in fat. The yolk is fat in the eggs. Above or below the line? Above, absolutely, yeah. Eggs, really good for you. Can you eat too many eggs per day?
Cholesterol.
They say yes, but probably not.
It's actually a myth. Eggs are completely fine. I think that's probably enough to move on to my next point.